Okay, so we're going to try it. This is the apple peeler. And it has this little lever that you push down. And it makes it suction to the counter. And then I'm supposed to, this little bar I pull back. And then I take a turnip. I'm just going to go a little bit because I'm afraid I'll shove it too hard and jab myself. Oh man, okay. Maybe if I do it. Okay, now, and it says you wind it. I don't know where this piece goes. Maybe just right there. Oh, looky there, y'all. Oh, let me put this paper plate underneath it. It's slicing it. It doesn't get every piece of peeling off. But look what it did. Look. We got a little spring. So, like I said, it didn't cut every piece of peeling off, but that's okay. I'm just going to pop this little piece off, and I'm good with that. Okay, so we're going to set that one right there, and then we're going to pull the core off, which is fine. I can use this for something else. I could use that. Use that for something else when it's all done. When we're done with all of them. I don't know what. I could maybe even chop these up into little, and then I can maybe, hang on, I'll show you what I'm thinking in my head. Maybe I can, hold her newt. All right, so maybe I can slice it. And then, instead of cubes, I don't know what you'd call this, little cylinders. Anyway, whatever this is. And then this, I could put on a cookie sheet pan and oven roast these turnips. You know, like all the cores. And so the rest of it, I think I can go like this. And then it's going to make little rings. You could do so much with this. You could batter it and have like fried turnip rings. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it on both sides because I don't want a ring. So I'm going to line it up. So yeah, you could have instead of fried onion rings or you could have fried turnip rings. So yeah, so those are already perfect for pan frying tomorrow. Isn't that something? Those are perfect now. And if I go to Mom's for Christmas, I can dip it and go zoop and use that instead of crackers. Okay, so we know it works on this. So hang on, let me try the other one. So what I did with this jicama, I cut just a little bitty knob. I cut that off and shoved it on. So let's see what happens with it. Nah, it's only scraping. It's not sharp enough. No. Well, that's okay. We learned. So this will not work with the jicama. And that's okay. So if you have a jicama, don't use, or well, you can try, but you more than likely will not be able to get a, you won't be able to get it peeled with a potato peel or with the apple peeler. So that's okay. We learned. So yeah. So I'm going to just put this. I think I'll finish peeling it and then I'll cut. I think it'll be okay. I'm going to leave it till tomorrow because I don't want to do all the work now. But I started. Okay, fine. I started it. I can't just leave it. I can't just not finish it. That would be dumb. Hang on. Let me. Need to wash this. I wonder if this comes off. I wonder how you clean this thing. Oh, no. I guess I can. I guess I'll just have to wash this part by hand, which is fine. So, all right, I'm going to peel this bad boy, and then I'll just put the whole thing in the refrigerator. I did put the turnips in water. I don't know if they need it, but I know when you peel a potato, they do need it. And whenever I stored the jicama, I did store it in in water. I'm not saying it needed it. That's just kind of what I did. So, all right, I'm going to get this bad boy peeled, and then it'll be ready. So then the next thing you guys will be seeing, it'll be tomorrow. It'll be like, boop, fast forward. So I did peel the jicama. Let's see. Let's see if it will slice it. Hang on here. Oh. Might have to help it a little bit. Oh, come on. It's so dense. It's funny. It's like it's stripping like a screwdriver, if that makes any sense. If you've ever done a screwdriver and it's stripped in the screw, that's what it's like. So I'm definitely helping it along. Yeah, you can see that, all that extra meat right there. But so they're kind of thicker slices, but I mean, we knew it because, you know, it's more dense, so we weren't really sure how it was going to work. But anyway, so it did, with a lot of extra help. It did cut the jicama. So I'm going to do this like I did the turnip. This is a cheapy knife. Second here. I'm going to do both sides of it like I did the turnip. So yeah. Okay, well, it works. It's not perfect, but hey, who cares? It worked. They're a little on the thicker side, but that's all right. Now I'm going to wash my hands. So I'm done cutting up the jicama. Look how much those two things make. They're so dense. It makes so much. So anyway, that's really why I like it, but whatever. I like the others too. This is just a lot more work. But anyway, so instead of putting the jicama in water, I'm going to just leave it in a Ziploc bag and see how it stores. I'll be working on it tomorrow. So if it turns brown, I won't care. I'll still eat it. But it's just for us to kind of learn how do you store jicama, what happens with it. So I'm going to put this in the refrigerator. I had to put a glove on because I cut my finger. And I put a Band-Aid over it, but I don't want to get the Band-Aid wet. So anyway, so yeah, I got a glove on. Okay, let's get back to the turnips. So I just did another one. I'm cutting off the root end, or whatever end this is. And then this funky end. Get this bad boy on here. And away we go. Got a certain area that it is skipping. I'm not sure why. So it's not perfect, but I guess, but we can eat the skin. I'm not going to stress about it. But if you can see, like, that whole area of skin did not get scraped off. But, like I said, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. So now I'm going to cut this side. And I'm going to cut this side. And I'm going to toss it in this little container I got back here, just waiting for me to do something with it. And I'm going to cut those little cylinders up. Let's try another. I'm going to have to force this one through just like I did that jicama. Kind of at a funky angle, so I'm not sure if I just didn't get it all the way down the middle or what. So, if you have an apple peeler and you have any tips about anything, but judging by how that looked, it definitely was not right down the middle. Whoop. Pull this lever back and pull back. Like I said, it's not perfect, but definitely is beneficial. It's easier than cutting up a bunch of turnips yourself. Let me clean up my peelings here. We've got three more. Yeah. We all know how good I am at counting. Okay, I'm going to just cut the bottom of all of them. Hold on. Callie, knock it off. Get in here, girl. Nobody wants to hear that racket. Nobody wants to hear all that. No, ma'am. My kitchen is right next to the door that goes to my backyard. So that's why y'all hear every time they make a sound. Well, that was not even at all. Oh, well. That has all kinds of catawampus, I'll show you. Come on, feller. Hang on, we know this route. See, you can see how big it is on that side and how little it is on that side. But it worked. So, yeah, if you're going to do turnips, if you're going to use turnips very often, this really is a good invention. Now, I don't know. I'm sure there's 11 brands. So, you know, whenever you see me use something, or when you all see me use something, I am no influencer. So it's not that I buy something because I know something about the brand. I just buy something because it's the cheapest one or the first one I see on Amazon. So for real, just because, you know, I know there's lots of influencers online that we all watch and we're like, oh, they use this. I bet that's the best one of whatever it is they're using. They must use the best and blah, blah, blah. Please no, that's not me. I'm going to use the cheapest version of something I can find on Walmart or Amazon, wherever it is. So, I'll tell you what brand I use happily, but just know it's not because I'm promoting something or selling something. If I ever do something like that, then I think you have to say like paid promotion on your label or something. Because I know there's lots of people out there who get paid. And I don't understand how that works. But people get paid to advertise their product on their YouTube channel. And I'm definitely not like that, or not near that status. But it's funny, like people I watch, for a long time, all of a sudden, you notice they'll start eating something a whole lot. And they'll be like, oh, this is great brand. You should really buy this. And then next thing you know, they say, hey, this is really good. If you ever want it, use my code. And I mean, some people do the YouTube thing as a full-time gig. And that's great. That is great if that's, if that's how it works for their life. I have no qualms about that. This is just me, a girl who is trying to show you how I went from really, really obese, super obese, to being just overweight. Whoop, whoop, I'm just overweight. Whoop, whoop. So, let's see. Thing. So I'm going to see which way works better. Because, I got the Jicama in a Ziploc bag. This did quite a bit. This is 4 pounds of... Hold on, let me aim you up a little bit. This here is 4 pounds of turnips. And that's good. And then I've got the 1 turnip is in here in water. So we'll see if there's any difference in how they look tomorrow. Like if they turn brown or not, I have no idea. So I'm going to clean up my stuff. And now when you see me next, we're going to be cooking this up. I was thinking maybe we could do some mashed. We'll do some mashed turnips and see what we think about that. So we'll do maybe some fried turnips and some fried jicama and some mashed turnips, because you can't mash the jicama. You can't cook that stuff down to be soft enough. I might could puree it, I don't know. I'm experimenting. I know I had talked about in the last video about how I'm going to try to do 2 eggs and some of those pre-cooked bacon pieces. Well, I figured out the amount of calories of the bacon pieces or the pre-cooked bacon compared to the real bacon pieces. And so it'll be pretty similar, I think. So anyway, so I'm going to have this and 2 eggs for breakfast. I'm just going to see if that makes me fuller longer than the yogurt. I've already drank my protein coffee. So what, just an experiment. I've always said I get hungry quicker after eggs versus beef, but maybe I'll stay fuller longer than I would with the yogurt. So anyway, that's what I'm going to have for breakfast. And there you go. That's how it looks. 2 things. It would be good on a low-carb tortilla. If you have any of those, you could do that. If you have the calories, or if you don't care about calories, but that would work. So it's funny, when I was plugging in things and trying to figure out what I could do for 1,800 calories and blah, 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 I immediately went to 3 eggs because my brain has always been about bulk. And my coworker, she says, and this is the one I like to tease, and this is the one who I said I felt sorry for her because she ate her piddly salad. But she's really super healthy, and God love her. She has been a huge help through my whole journey. She's not keto, but she understands that I have issues with food, and she understands that that's what's working for me. But we've worked together 10 years. And so she's really spent a lot of time trying to help educate me. So anyway, what she said, well, Terry, why don't you just try 2 eggs? And I'm like, my mind was blown. I'm like, 2 eggs? What? Because the reason why I went to carnivore was so I could still have large amounts of food. I needed that full pound of food twice a day for my brain to process. I couldn't have counted calories. I needed large amounts of food. And so my brain still doesn't understand that this right there, that's enough food to sustain me for 3-4 hours. But she understands that. She knows that. So she was like, why don't you just try 2 eggs? And I'm like, oh. So I did. So that's what this is. 2 eggs and, like I said, the same calories as 2 slices of that real thin pre-cooked bacon. So I'm going to see how long it lasts. But yeah, so my brain still thinks of things as big, huge amounts until it's going to be a continuous journey to retrain it that you don't need a whole pound of things. You don't have to see a large amount. And so anyway, but yeah, so this is what I'm having right now. And, in the future, if I wanted to, I could add a low carb tortilla and have that, have like a little burrito in the morning. So just some other options. I put all the jicama I had sliced up onto this pan. It's got a mixture of smoked paprika, that garlic herb that I like, and Greek seasoning. And I drizzled some olive oil on it. So I'm going to put this in the oven at 350 for about 45 minutes. Back there in this pot, I'm boiling some turnips. I'm going to put a little salt in it. And I'm going to boil it because we're going to try to make mashed turnips with that. And then this front one, we're going to do some pan-fried turnips, just like I did last week. So that means I need to pull out my bacon grease. And we're just going to saute up the rest of the jicama, or the rest of the turnips. Second, I'll show you how much we have left. So here we go. There's some bacon grease. I need to get that going. And we have this much turnips left from that. So that and this is all the turnips. So I'm going to let this melt and then we'll get to frying these. All right. Whoa. So yeah, that peeler these are really good slices for making fried anything. So that's going to work out really, really well. Let me get my handy dandy Kool-Aid spoon. That's my childhood Kool-Aid spoon that I stole from my mama's house. Except she caught it a couple videos ago. She's like, is that my spoon? I'm like, what spoon, pal? So that's some salt I'm going to put in there with it. And I'm just going to saute these up. Let's get it going. Get them all good and coated with that little bacon grease down in there. So you don't need to watch it. It's going to take forever. So I'm going to soften it up and I'll get back to you. It's been going about 5 minutes. So about every couple minutes I uncover it and I stir it. Uncover it and stir it. I'm leaving a little escape route for the moisture. So that's what I'm doing every couple of minutes. Now I'm keeping it uncovered and I'm just going to stir it every couple of minutes because I want the pieces to get a little bit golden. But they're only going to get golden when they're down against the skillet. So I'm going to do that and let it sit, and then every couple of minutes give it a stir. The turnips in the back are boiling, so I'm going to let that boil for about 10 minutes or so. And I'm satisfied with I've taken a bite of one of these right here, and I'm satisfied with the texture and everything. So I'm going to dump these out. You know me, I'll just house them right here until I'm all done. And then I'm going to start the process again. probably, I don't know, about half of these maybe. There we go. So I'll do this with this batch and then another batch. So that's what I'll be working on with these. And then after that, in the meantime, when that gets done boiling, I'll come back to you. Okay, so I'm satisfied with my texture of my turnips. I don't have any butter, so I'm going to use a splash of heavy cream and stop it right there. And I'm not going to do not going to use a blender or anything. I just want a rough chop. Well, a chop, but it's going to end up mashing them in the end. I'm not adding any broth or water or anything like that. I feel like that was just plenty of the heavy cream. It's going to be frozen and defrosted, so whatever I do to it, it's going to change the texture anyway as it's been frozen. So it really doesn't matter. Sorry. I know that sounds loud on camera. I'm going to get a little I'm going to add some of my silly salt. This is Paula Deen's silly salt. I'm going to put some of that in there for flavor. It'll give it a little garlicky and oniony and salt and pepper, and let's see what we think of that. Since I'm not going to be having gravy or anything on it, you know, it's not going to be like mashed potatoes and gravy. It's just going to be kind of a mushy version of whatever flavor I put on it. So let's see what the flavor tastes like. Oh my gosh, yeah. Wow. So that's it. It's grainy. It is nothing like mashed cauliflower, I can tell you that much. It does not need all that extra butter. It does not need all the cheese. It doesn't need all the bacon. It doesn't need all that stuff. That's really good. So I'm going to put this in 200 gram servings and see how that works. Like really, this is good, y'all. All I do is mash it up and maybe 2 to 3 tablespoons of heavy cream, and then just some salt or seasoned salt, whatever you have. That is really, really good. I'm going to show you the texture again. It's flaky, kind of chunky because of the way I chopped it up. It's not mushed up. I'm digging that texture. It is soft, like I could mush it up if I wanted to. It's just kind of nice having the little, almost could be a rice substitute. So yeah, I took another bite and it really is good. I ended up getting 3 servings of about 185, 80, 90 grams. Since I know everything's 200 grams, I'm just going to put a T for turnip and I'll put a J for jicama. So that way I know which one it is I'm grabbing out to plug into my app. Look how good that roasted jicama looks. You know, you don't have to go through all this. I don't always go through all this. As you all know, many times I've just taken frozen vegetables and put them in a container and put them into my refrigerator. And that's how I had I just would defrost it, not even cook the frozen vegetables. Just defrost them and then microwave them for 2 minutes. So this is still crunchy. I'm going to let this cool before I take a bite. But all this is not necessary. Please know that. You know, I go through spells of doing stuff and not doing stuff. Right now, this is what I'm just doing. Yeah, it tastes good. It's got good flavor. It maintains its crunch. That's the thing about jicama, maintains its crunch. Someday, I want to get a dehydrator and try to dehydrate the radishes and see if they're like kind of whether it's like jerky or banana chips. I don't know, just something to try someday. But anyway, so yeah, 45 minutes, 350 degrees. I'll get that into servings and we'll see how many it makes. Okay, so let's look at what it makes. It was 4 pounds of turnips made 7 200-gram containers. 2 big jicamas made 5 containers of 200 grams. So realistically, there's less manual labor. Once you get jicama peeled, you're good to go. But you get more out of it because it's more dense and heavy. But you can never have mashed jicama. I mean, I think you'd have to boil that for days. But anyway, so that's the outcome. So 5 jicama, 7 turnips. So it just depends on what your goals are and what you want. And that's that. So yeah, so that's what I got. And I think that's all I got for the week. And I might not hit record. I might not hit finish until I double check. Okay, yeah, that's all. That's the end. No more meal prep. I may do coffee, but that's gonna be way later. Maybe tomorrow. I'll let you know if I do. All right, bye.